various alarm calls that the birds give off, and of course vice versa. The birds can tell the different animal species that Impala will be alarming for, and if it is a bird, a big raptor or a snake, the Impala are not going to be particularly worried about them. Because it does sort of sound like they're going a little bit more ballistic than they normally would, which makes me think that a leopard is not necessarily a go-away bird, biggest predator, but a snake or an eagle would definitely be so. And they're still going crazy. But nothing from the Impala. They're grooming, eating, going about their day. Oh, lovely. So we're going to go and shoot across quickly to Sydney's Dam and see if we have any luck over there. But thank goodness we managed to find these Impala. I was worried that... Oh, no! Hang on! Elephant! Woo! Yeah, hold on!
So, sorry about that. I think Tayla's just gone through a little bit of a bad signal area, so I'm sure we'll get rid of the gremlins and she'll be able to show you more of that beautiful elephant that she found. But we have found something that is maybe not everyone's cup of tea, but I find them incredibly beautiful. This is called a garden orb-web spider, and this is a massive female that we're seeing here. You can see if I put my hand there, just how big she is. She is quite large, so we get quite big spiders out here, and she will have been growing through the summer months, and she's put up a web very close to the pathway where we think Impala has walked. And it's quite interesting. When we first arrived, she was actually busy feeding off a grasshopper, but because of the wind, she got a bit disturbed on our approach and came rushing up to the top of this tree. So I've just gently bent over the branches just so we can see her, and being very careful not to damage her web in any way, and just so that we can get a beautiful view of her. Now, you saw that she had the most amazing coloration, so she had these bright yellows and blacks, and that's all there to tell any predator that comes past, particularly things like birds, that I'm venomous and not edible in any way, so don't come near me. And these orb-web spiders are quite amazing. They'll build such a strong web that they'll be able to catch even small birds. So I've seen things like red-backed shrikes, sparrows, and varying other small birds flying into these webs and actually being caught up, and the spider then consuming them, which is absolutely incredible. And they reckon that if you had to take this web and upscale it to about a 3 centimeter diameter, then it would be able to build a net that would be strong enough to catch a Boeing at full speed and hold it in its web, which is pretty insane. So it just shows you how strong a web is that these guys build. Now, there was another type of spider here which has unfortunately disappeared, and with this wind I highly doubt we're going to be able to see it. But there is a tiny spider that will parasitize the web of a golden orb web or a garden orb web. It's called a dewdrop spider. Now, like I say, there was one little one, but with the wind it's going to be impossible to keep it on a camera. Now, this dewdrop spider looks just like a drop of dew on the web, and that's where it gets its name from. But they will come along and they sit here and they wait for this beautiful orb web to catch something, and then they move along, and as the orb web gets its full, it will be able to then... Hold on, I just want to let go of this branch so that we don't disturb her anymore. And there we go. Oh, she's coming down towards the main part of her web now. And so as she catches something and feeds off it, then the dewdrop spider will come back and be able to feed off whatever this orb web has caught, and basically steals from the orb web, which is pretty incredible. And like I was saying to you just now, that she was actually feeding on something. You can see she's busy building and constructing the web again, which is amazing. Now, we didn't break any part of this web when we bent over the tree. The web was perfect, and I think what she's doing is just making sure that all the anchor lines are still perfect and that nothing has been damaged, and so she's just checking out her web. Also, the dewdrop spiders that were here, they were building in between these anchor lines, and so maybe she's just wondering who's actually been adding to her web. But isn't that incredible? Now, we've gotten a bit distracted from our leopard search, so we shall carry on with that. And while we do, I believe Tayla's figured out her gremlin and can now show you the elephant that she had earlier.
I can indeed. I'm so excited. This is what I've been wanting to see now for the last 2 days, and I haven't found an elephant. But we've got one. I'm going to go a little bit forward. He might disappear. He is going to disappear. I'm just going to get a bit ahead, and then he'll pop out again on the left. We'll see him walk towards the left. Hopefully that's the way that he's going to go. And it's a young elephant bull. that's all on his own. He's not particularly old. He looks to be I would say between about 16 and 20 years old, somewhere around there. So probably recently only been kicked out of the herd. Hello. But happy, feeding on all this long grass. Got the company of the Impala, so it's not too bad. But how wonderful was that? I was really starting to get a bit worried that my luck was going to be horrendous, but at least it's changed. I think from here it can only get better. And something that Rex actually just said to me on the radio just before I got to show you this elephant was he could hear some Impala alarming on Triple M, and he wonders if perhaps that male leopard is somewhere around there. So we'll spend a little bit of time with him, but then we are going to go racing off around the corner to try and see if we can catch whoever is making the other animals scared, which will be quite nice. Hello, boy. Hiding again behind all the bushes. Now I get it. So our beard, thank you so much for your lovely comment. You said is a woohoo elephant, different from a normal elephant. It is indeed. There's quite a massive difference between a woohoo elephant and just a typical African elephant. And now you can see the woohoo elephant. They like to feed on grass, mainly, I suppose similar to the African elephant, but they travel alone. They don't travel in groups in breeding herds. I'm just teasing, of course. I'm talking absolute nonsense. I just got so excited about this elephant that, you know me, I shout all sorts of strange noises out when I get excited. But there he goes. He's going to disappear now. Unfortunately, he's in Buffelshoek, so we can't follow him. And look how quickly he moves through those branches. Luckily, there's not too many thorns. There's just plenty of bush willows and wattles, which are nice, soft leaves. So I'm sure he's going to continue his evening. And as he moves into that thicket, he'll probably be a little bit more relaxed, because he was a bit nervous when we first spotted him. You saw he shook his head just a moment ago, and he also did a little run when we'd first spotted him. Maybe it was from me going woohoo, but I don't think so. But this wind can make them a bit shy, so he'll probably be happy feeding in and amongst that little thicket over there. Boba Fett, you're wondering how often do elephants charge? And also welcome to you, who you are a new viewer. So all of our regular viewers, please give a very warm welcome. Now, elephants, they don't normally charge, actually. It's amazing. They're really placid creatures, and all animals are like that, unless you push them to a point where they have no other option other than to, of course, charge. Let's actually carry on driving. And so, not very often at all. Sorry, we can't go anywhere, so you'll just have to look at me because our elephant is now gone. So it's a tough one, really. I don't think they charge very often. I've had 2 very, very serious charges. That's it. That's all I've had, and that's been in a car. I've had 1 or 2 mock charges, so that's just over 5 years, so hardly ever. We're going to keep on searching now. We're going to race round. We're going to quickly go and have a look and check Triple M for Mvula to see if he's popped out. But Tristan is also searching far and wide for Mvula. He's on a termite mound.
Indeed, and it's just because we got a bit sidetracked, and the view from up here is absolutely spectacular this afternoon. You can see right across into the distance. Now, unfortunately, because of the bit of cloud that we've got, we can't see the Drakensberg mountains that run on our western side. But there's still an incredible vista as it drops down into Arathusa and onward into the Sabi Sands. Now, I know Tayla said she's going to quickly shoot round to Triple M and see if there's any signs of Mvula, and I think that's a very good idea, because as we came up onto the termite mound, we heard Impala's alarm calling, and it sounded like Triple M close to that one-eyed pan road that I was referring to earlier. So I wonder if he maybe hasn't just crossed somewhere where we missed the track, and he's carried on up into that area like I thought he might. So it would be worth Tayla quickly getting around there and being able to see if she can find anything. They have gone quiet now, but I think that's possibly where he might be. But like I say, it's so pretty up here at the moment, and the temperature has dropped completely. We've got this beautiful wind blowing now, and it's so nice up here. Like I say, if there was ever going to be a place that a leopard should be, it should be... Oh, Craig, careful. So Craig has dismounted quite gracefully, considering considering that he's got a camera and a backpack. Well done, Craig. I'm very impressed that you didn't fall, and you managed to even try and keep us on frame. So let's get down the mound before Craig does a damage to himself. Cameramen in this camp have a nasty habit of damaging feet and ankles, so let's rather not risk it and have Craig. Yeah, Lou says it's called Camop's foot, so let's rather not risk it. Come, Craig, let's get away from the mound before you hurt yourself. Well, it was very pretty up there, wasn't it, Craig? Maybe that's why Craig got distracted. He was too busy admiring the view up there, as was I. Now, you can see in this grass how difficult it would be to find this leopard. If this leopard was here, I'm going to go a little bit further and I'm going to lie down flat and see if you can see me. Craig, you stay here, and I'm going to go a little bit further away. And I'm going to lie down, and you'll see that it's going to be very, very difficult for you guys to pick me up. So I'm not far away. You can see I'm probably now not even 20 feet from Craig, but if I lie down completely flat, I am almost invisible. So if there's a leopard sleeping here somewhere and he is lying flat on his side, I'm really going to have to step up on him to be able to see him. But it's quite amazing that even after all this rain, the grass is still not as long as it used to be. At one point we had grass that was like this high, and down where Brent was on Cheetah Plains, the grass there is crazy. But like I say, that's the difficult part of tracking in the summer, is that you have to deal with all of this grass and try and be able to see through it. And that's why also using termite mounds from time to time is a good idea, because you just get a bit of an elevated view and you can see down below you and see if there is anything around. But it really has turned into a beautiful evening. Like I say, the wind has come up and the sun has gone behind the cloud, and it's now the temperature has just eased off really nicely, and it's become very, very, very pleasant out here. It's now the best time of the day to be walking. This and when the sun rises is really when it's at its absolute best. Alright, now we seem to be failing in our quest for spots, but Brent has still got the fastest land animal, so let's go across to him and see what those cheetah are doing.
Well, the cheetah is not moving at all. You can see he's still lying next to the water hole, and I am hoping he gets up and moves directly behind him. I think I saw where my binoculars gone now. I think I see some Impala in the distance. Let me just have a look with my binoculars. No, it wasn't. It was a stag. Oh, I'm just going to reposition because I just heard there's some elephants coming down here from behind us. So we want to get into a spot. Maybe we can have cheetah and elephant in the same shot. What do you think about that, Dave? Does that sound good? Good. I'm glad you're happy, Dave. Now I'm allowed to throw blackjacks at you again. How's that for you, Dave? Is that okay? Oh, there we go. That's great. Now, hopefully we'll be able to see the elephants approaching. So I think they're probably coming from due west. Could also prompt this cheetah to get moving. Where are these elephants? I'm trying to spot them at the moment. He's looking very relaxed, reclining, having a pool day. I wonder how far those elephants were away. As I said, it's unusual. There's so much water about at the moment that they might drink anywhere. Maribeth would like to know, is it possible that the other male cheetah could be away mating? It's possible, but it's unlikely. So out of a coalition of cheetah, only one of them will mate, and the other will hang around while the other does that. So because they are completely they are 100% related. Cheetah coalitions are always made up of related individuals. They are brothers. So the same genetics will be passed on. So only the dominant male of the coalition will mate. Oh, there we go. Stretch, yawn. Is it time to get moving? So Anne in the Netherlands is wondering at what age are cheetah sexually mature? Well, like a lot of animals out there, they become sexually mature probably at around 2 years old, but they won't be able to mate until they're much older due to competition from other males. And cheetah male fights are incredibly brutal, and they can go on for 6 or 7 hours at a time. So they are very, very brutal. And so even though they do probably reach sexual maturity and are capable of mating from about 2 years old, they don't normally till they're about 5.5, 6. Or maybe these elephants were a bit further away than we thought, or they've just changed direction. Very peaceful here on cheetah plains next to the male cheetah. Slight breeze starting to pick up. And only a single monotonous lark calling. Wouldn't it be great if those Ellies did pop through? Now, you can see how flattened a cheetah's tail is compared to a leopard, which is a very round tail. And that's again to help with their high speeds, sort of a rudder. So a flat, wide tail as opposed to a roundish tail. Now, cheetah, interestingly enough, actually evolved in Africa. Lots of other cats like leopards and that didn't, and they evolved in Africa and migrated into Asia. Now, of course, cheetah became extinct in India probably about 120 years ago, and there's still some cheetah in Iran. So that's, I think, the only population of cheetah in the wild outside of South Africa outside of Africa, not South Africa, Africa, is in Iran. Very, very beautiful. Well, there's Roy. I wonder if he can tell us how far away the elephants are. There's another vehicle just arriving. I think it's starting to look like it might be time to get moving. Trying to see if I can spot those Ellies. No luck yet. Paul would like to know if I've ever seen a cheetah swim or in water. I haven't, Paul. I'm sure they can swim and are capable of swimming if they have to, but they generally choose not to. Like most of the big cats. They're all capable of swimming, but they choose not to. And in an area like this, there's no need for a cheetah to ever swim. In certain areas, I'm pretty sure they cross the Mara River from time to time in Kenya, so I'm sure they will swim then. But as I say, it is not a common occurrence, and it'll be every now and then rather than something they do regularly. Very pretty though. Oh, hi, Bacon would like to know, can they run long distances if they're not at full speed? Well, they do. They're capable of walking incredible distances, and they can run 500-600 meters at speed, and generally they'll do that to keep away from a predator or a threat. But other than that, they don't really run long distance at all. They'll walk. Come on. Time to go hunting. Not snoozing. It's hunting time. Oh, biting fly just got me behind the knee. Ow. That was a good one. Evil little things. Just as I was so comfortable. There's plenty of those little stable flies around at the moment, causing havoc. Of course, they bite us very infrequently in compared to how much they bite the big cats. And you can see that damage often around their ears. Bobo would like to know, would a cheetah ever try scavenge food? Now, it's very unlikely, but there are opportunists like all other predators. So yes, they would try if they found a dead impala and the leopard wasn't there or whatnot. They would definitely try scavenge. I just have to be on the radio. There are some vehicles trying to get in here before it gets too dark. We also don't view the animals after dark. So diurnal animals like cheetah and wild dogs we don't view with the spotlight. Oh, but we do have the IR light with us tonight, don't we? Oh, we might be able to stay after dark because we've got the infrared kit with us. Okay, well, I sort out the game drive radio quickly. Let's go see what Tayla's up to.
I'm not sure where Rexon is, but he had, like I said earlier, he had Mvula's tracks around here somewhere. I haven't seen any leopard tracks just yet, but we hope that we're not too far behind him. We're going to quickly go and scratch. We checked a bit of Triple M, and we checked towards the power lines, and they're no luck. And then I did sneak in, but let's take this little road off to the right, which will take us back to the cut line again. And then let's just double and triple check and make sure that nothing has crossed through here. There's lots of little puddles along the way, and I haven't seen any footprints yet going off to drink. There were some hyena tracks here. But they're also now gone. Oh, and very bumpy, as you can see the camera jumping around. Exceptionally bumpy in this area. This is very badly affected by the rain. Just check under all these guarri trees. I know Shadow normally likes to hide underneath these guarri shrubs. It's her favorite trick. Then she becomes invisible. Check back there. No, nothing. Nothing, sadly. Okay, we'll keep going up a little bit further on Triple M. Let's see if I do pick up any tracks. Only problem is that at this time of the day, it would almost be impossible to see if this leopard had crossed unless it had happened right now and over the top of all of our tracks. It is such a busy road. I've seen loads of game drive vehicles already going up and down, and it seems like they were all zooming off to go and have a look at that cheetah, which is wonderful that you've seen with Brent, and it'll be even better. I don't know if those elephants have come down for a drink in, but it would be nice if they really do pop out of the bushes and show themselves. That'll be a spectacular sighting. So maybe, I don't know, Rexon didn't really tell me how fresh those tracks were either. So I don't know if it's from today, and with Mvula not being a big dominant male leopard anymore like Tingana is, Tingana sort of rules the north at the moment, him and the Anderson male, and then the further east you go then you get Shivambalana and Quarantine. But even though they can't compete, I don't think, with the Anderson male and Tingana. They've got many years of experience on their side. Those are still young boys. So hang on, what's this? What is this? I can't even tell you what they are anymore. They're so old and so windblown. They've just got their toes. They were just little toes in the sand, but I couldn't tell you and no padding, so I couldn't tell you how many pads there were, if it was a dog or a cat track or a hyena track or even it could have been a wild dog track, and I would never have even known. Maybe that could be what it was. I think this is from the wild dogs running around here the other morning, because they look quite small and compact, but almost too long to be a leopard track. But very, like I said, very, very sand blown. You couldn't really even tell what was going on, which was quite difficult. Oh, actually, have a look at this. Let me get a clear view of this cloud. Let me go up a little bit further. Let's try this gap here. Tiny little gap of this clouds with the sun. It is so beautiful just through there. Oh, actually, I think I have to go back a bit. Let me try and get this nicely for you. It's a very small gap, as you can see, but it's actually quite beautiful. Looks like the clouds are on fire. Look at that. It is really, really lovely. This is beautiful. Okay, let's continue. Let's carry on and not lose these tracks or our initial plan. That's probably the best sunset you're going to get this evening. Maybe there's some big cumulonimbus clouds forming behind us, so perhaps they'll catch some of the pinks and oranges that we often get at sunset, but we'll have to be very lucky. Right, no luck with the tracks. And well, speaking about the tracking team, let's go across to Tristan, and hopefully he'll be able to give us a better update as to what's going on with those leopard tracks.
I'm sorry, Tayla, we don't have much good news for you. We found his tracks going into a very thick area that's going straight towards Triple M. So that's the best that I can give you. We've walked along that area, but it's now getting very, very thick. It's starting to get dark, and there's even thunder starting to happen in the south of us. So we're going to have to turn around and carry on. I'm pretty sure that he's hit Triple M, and if he hasn't crossed already, we'll be crossing very shortly. So that's the best news that I can give you, Tayla. But we were walking along, and we came across some very interesting mushrooms. Now, these mushrooms that are at the base of my feet, unfortunately this one has expired, if you want to call it that, but it's called a shaggy inkcap. Now, it gets its name because if you have a look, you see there are these black spores that have run down, and they've actually made a black circle around the base of this mushroom. Now, that black is all the spores that actually start to run from the cap of the mushroom, and that's where it gets its name, shaggy inkcap. As it starts to degrade, so these spores start to run like a thick inky fluid, and they start to drop to the ground, and then they form this circular, almost like crop circle around the fungus itself, which is really cool. So this would have come out during the rainy period last week, and it's only lasted for a few days, but it's very, very cool to see them. I was hoping we would find some that are actually busy dropping that spore-like structure, and all this ink starts to drip down. It really is something quite amazing to watch, and a very, very cool thing to see. There is another type of fungus here, but I have no idea what this is. I'm going to ask Tayla to borrow her fungus book, because she has a book with fungi in it, and it's a very cone-shaped fungus. So you can see this one should be quite easy to ID, and there the spores are on the side of it that are busy dropping down, so I'm sure I can ID this one. I just need to have a look through the book. I'm not very good when it comes to fungus. We don't see that many of them, and because of how quickly they degrade, it's not easy things to identify, and like I say, we're reliant on heavy rains to be able to have them. And this section that we're in is just a particularly good example for quite a few of these ink caps. There's lots of them around here, so nice place to look for them. Tayla says she's going to come and drop it off because she's had no luck with Impala, and she says I'm welcome to identify it. Thank you very much, Tayla. It's very, very kind of you. And like I say, unfortunately, Impala has given us the slip. It is quite difficult to track him. I was actually telling Craig that when he was a dominant male here, we once had a sighting of him on the Mala boundary close to Cheetah Plains, and that was in the morning, and by the afternoon we left him sleeping there. By the afternoon they located him at the start of Game Drive, crossing the Buffelshoek boundary into Manyeleti. So this male, when he decides that it's time to walk, he definitely knows how to, and will cover serious amounts of ground. Now this afternoon I think we were just behind him, and unfortunately we were just getting a few, sort of the run around and missing him every time we would go across a block. So it's unfortunate, but it's the way it does go. Alright, so talking about cats and us failing, let's rather go across to Brent, who's had a lot more success and has been able to catch up with the spotted cat.
3. There we go. We're still with this wonderful cheetah. He's starting to do a bit of grooming, and he might get up and start moving now. And who knows, is there an unexpecting impala around the corner? Is he going to catch himself a meal, or is he going to go hungry? So with the big cats, when they start grooming, stretching, it's always a good sign that it's about time to get moving. As I said, this is the favorite time of the day. Their favorite time of the day to get up and get moving. And hopefully it's going to happen quite soon. It's getting the temperatures dropping a little bit. Or maybe the flies will irritate him enough to get him on the move. Well, there we go. For us, when we say it's starting to get a bit cooler, it's still 86 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Celsius. And well, that means it was quite a bit warmer earlier. But it was also quite humid today. I think it made it feel a bit worse. Come on, Cheetah, time to go hunting. Looks like he's almost in two minds. But he's not nearly as asleep as he was earlier. I wonder which way he's going to go. Probably still searching for his long-lost brother. I haven't heard of them being together yet. And it's not unusual that the male cheetah gets separated when they've been chased by something like lion or leopard. And they will eventually hopefully find each other. I'll normally do that by scent. Oh, there we go, roll over. I see the rolling over is becoming more frequent. We'll have a little head scratch on the ground. Let me just move back a bit. Vivian would like to know how many cheetahs are known to be on cheetah plains. Well, we see two males regularly. I've found female tracks once, but I haven't seen a female yet. So normally we just see the two males. Oh, there's a yawn. Now, Lauren would like to know, do female cheetahs ever form coalitions? No, they don't, Lauren. They are solitary. And there's no evolutionary reason for them to form coalitions, whereas male, it's much easier for them to defend a territory. Female cheetah are more nomadic. Now, they have very big home ranges, but they pop in and out and all over the place. And you must remember that cooperation and things like coalitions are all to do with the best reason in evolutionary terms, which is either for mating or for food resource. There we go. Oh, and we just moved here. He rolls over again. But as I said, it's starting to look good for him getting up and maybe starting to get on the hunt shortly. Oh, I just heard something on the radio. Oh, good scratch. Is it time to get moving? I think so. Remember, hashtag Safari Live if you'd like to ask any questions. Will this cheetah get up and go on the hunt? That is the question on my mind at the moment. There we go, he's up. He might have a drink, so I must get ready to move. Now, Rob is wondering, why are cheetah less successful than leopards when it comes to survival? Well, Rob, it's very, very simple. They've become so over-specialized that they are unable to defend themselves against any real threat, because any little injury could cause them to not be able to hunt. And they are literally the bottom of the predator food chain. So everyone else is higher up than them. As I say, even a big group of vultures can chase a cheetah off a kill. Oh, he's a bit more hungry than I thought. There we go, he's doing exactly what I was hoping he was going to do. That's why we got up and drove around. There we go. Isn't that pretty? See, he's very nervous when he's drinking. Now, it's obviously a time of possible danger. While his head's down, he's not watching what's happening around him, so they can be quite nervous while they're having a drink. Daniel is wondering, is there anything lurking in the pan that Cheetah's drinking from? Daniel, I'm sure there's some terrapins and some bugs and some aquatic insects, but I don't think there's anything sinister lurking in the Cheetah Plains pan. No Boris the Blade, although I have decided the next crocodile's name will be Bullet-Toothed Tony when we do find another crocodile. Not too thirsty, probably had a drink a bit earlier. Now, Paulie is wondering, why is it that most of the big cats don't like water? Well, very simple, water is death. The crocodiles live in the water out here, and they're incredibly dangerous. If you think about the two big cat species that do like water, tigers and jaguars, they don't have very big crocodiles where they occur, so it's not nearly as much of a threat. I mean, of course, there are caimans in the areas where the jaguars live, but the jaguars tend to end up eating the caimans rather than doing anything else. Absolutely stunning. Lovely reflection as well. Just a little bit of wind that's keeping the top end from being a perfect reflection. It does seem to look like the cheetah's deciding which way should he go. And the answer is, I think you're going to lie down again and think about it. Now, it looks like they might go south. Well, it's good. There might be some Impala to the south of us. They are exquisitely beautiful animals. Those very, very fine lines. Oh, they've got a bit of a limp. Very, very small limp. There you go, walking past a Chitwa safari vehicle. As guests also having a stunning view of this male cheetah. You can see he's going to disappear into that grass, and it's going to be quite hard to follow him. Well, see him. I think we should manage that. Yeah, well, we're going to keep up with this cheetah. While we do that, let's go see what Madam McCurdy is up to.
Bumbling. Today is the day of bumbles, I think, and we're having a great bumble. We are now trying to break a record as well as to see how many roads we can drive in one game drive. I suppose it's the elimination process, hey? And then eventually we can just go up and down and start doing the same roads again, and then hopefully by then some animal, hopefully a cat by the name of Mvula, would have decided to have popped his nose out. He might get active now if he had just sat down during the day, because it was really hot. I can't imagine he would have gone on a big stroll in the heat of the day. There's no real need for a male to do that. Well, unless to be trying to avoid other big male leopards, so maybe there is a reason. But we're hoping to see a big cat. Now we're going to drive on Mumba Road next, and we're going to turn left on the next road and then check around there, maybe check Drakensberg back up towards Buffelshoek Dam, and try not to catch too many insects with our eyes this evening. That'll also be one of the goals. I think we're doing very well. Now, what's really funny is that with a GPS, as we're driving around, because these vehicles have got a GPS in them, so the directors can see where we are going, and unintentionally every now and then you make a picture on the GPS by just driving up and down. So that might be one of my goals soon. If we don't find an animal, I'm going to start creating images for you. Louise, have I drawn a picture yet with all the roads that I've been on? Or not yet? Does it just look more like a scribble? Okay, so Louise she says I've drawn a picture of the Djuma boundary. That I've definitely done. I've done all of Buffelshoek, I've done Triple M, Gowrie Main, and I've done Cheetah Cut Line too, so we've got that ticked. Now we've done a couple of filler roads too, in and out, but we might have to, wondering if we go to quarantine or an open area, maybe we'll be able to draw something. One day Jamie unintentionally drew a dog, which was quite nice. It was a magnificent sighting. Kirst actually managed to get a screenshot of that. It was quite wonderful. I'm actually envious. I didn't realize you could be artistic as you drove around on the road. I'm trying to think, if I did that, what could I make? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to just zigzag now until we find something. It's got dark, very dark this evening, very quickly, so I'm sure Bushwalk is almost heading home. Not quite yet, but almost. It's a problem with these clouds that we've been having building up every single evening is that we lose about 10 to 15 minutes of light, which is a pity. Where are the animals? Animals, animals. Nothing in there. Let's keep looking. That's all we have to do. This is the thing about safaris, is that sometimes you see so many different things, and other days it is hard work. And if it was easy, well, I suppose everybody would do it then, wouldn't they? Well, that's the joy. Some days are great, some days are a little bit slow. But I got to see my elephant, so I'm very happy with that. I think we could just about pack up and go home now, because I've topped it. I've been trying to find that elephant for 2 days, and I finally got one. And I don't know, let me ask Louise quickly. Louise, did Brent mention about that very interesting article about elephant sleep that we've all been reading? Let's see. Okay. So I read an interesting article actually the other day, and then Brent sent it to us this afternoon, and they were saying that elephants don't have much sleep. Now, we've always thought that elephants have a couple of hours of sleep every single night, or during the day, sort of spread out. So we would say that they would take naps during the day. During the heat of the day, you'll see them standing motionless under a big marula tree or a knob tree, whichever's got the most shade. And this seems to not be the case anymore. It seems like they take these little midday siestas, but it's not for very long. So what some scientists went and did, mobiles or on watches that tell you how many steps you've done, and they reckon that that's got something to do with the optimal temperatures. Firstly, it's nice and cool. Excuse me. There's not much. That wasn't a sneeze, Louise. That's a sip of water. Should have done it. We'll see. Well, basically they sleep between those hours, and then there was one elephant that didn't sleep for, I think it was 46 hours before it took its first rest. So it just shows you that they're big animals, something like an elephant. It doesn't digest its food very well. It's constantly moving, it's feeding, traveling large distances. You would think that they'd be exhausted after something like that, but it just shows you that they're not. I found that article very fascinating, and it really is unbelievable what we can do nowadays with technology and how we're able to now sort of further these theories that we put out about these animals. So that's really amazing. That is something that none of us would have ever known, and thanks purely to the technology that we have today has allowed us to find this out about elephants. This could obviously depend on those particular elephants and the habitat that they're in. It could be different for elephants in Kenya, to Tanzania, to South Africa. You just never know. You'd have to do a wider study, but it's a very, very great thing, I think, what they've started, and it'll be interesting to see if they further investigate it. As I mentioned, it's getting a little bit dark now, and I know Tristan and Rexon and Craig are going to be heading home shortly, so let's pop across to them to see, well, their whole journey on their way home.
Indeed, Tayla, it's all of a sudden gotten very dark. I'm sure it's all these clouds that are starting to come in, and like I said earlier, there's a little bit of thunder rolling in as well, so it's best probably to start heading home. Craig says we're absolutely done for. We're going to die, in his most dramatic voice he could have possibly had. Even though he was just joking, it was quite funny at the time. But as we were walking along, we were kind of admiring the view that we have behind us here. The sunset hasn't been spectacular, and the colors in the sky are not spectacular, but it's still nice to see these big cumulonimbus clouds that are coming in, which could be a promise of rain. It has been really humid today, and so rain would be really nice. And as Rexon was saying, we do need a bit of rain to try and just fill up the dams a little bit more so that they last through the winter months this year. I reckon that if we stay the way we are now, I don't think most of them will last all the way through till October. Now, it's been a very sweaty afternoon. It's been quite hot and sticky out here, and Craig says he's in need of a shower. So I found the most perfect wild basil bush here. This is probably one of the biggest ones I've ever seen, and it smells absolutely incredible. It's so pungent after this rain. It's got like a mixture of lavender and basil, as Craig describes it, and he says it's delightful. So Craig is using his best Queen's English to describe this. So maybe we should take some home, and Craig, you can shower with it, and then you'll smell delightful. How about that? What do you reckon? Good? I think so. Alright guys, so from myself and Craig, that's all we're going to be doing this afternoon. Like I said, we're going to be heading back. I'm sorry we didn't find Mvula. That's part of the way that it goes out here, but it was a great afternoon trying to find him and sneaking through all these thickets and searching for him. So while we try and get home before Craig dies an untimely death from a wild animal, let's go across to Brent and see how the cheetah is doing.
And I've magically turned from Brent into Tayla. Isn't that a great magic trick? I think it was quite wonderful. I don't know, I think I'm in the wrong profession. Maybe I should become a magician. I think it'd be a good idea. What do you think, Louise? Louise, do you think I'd make a great magician? I'm good at, well, no, I don't really know what I'm good at about magician things. What would my stage name be? Should we do, yes. Who can come up with the best magician stage name for me? Let's see, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, just for a little bit of fun and games as, the day ends and it becomes night. It would be interesting to see what type of magician name you think that I could have. And I wonder what my outfit would look like. It would be very sparkly, I can imagine. There would be all the sparkles you could think of. So Louise has said my stage name should be Magical McCurdy. Don't know how I feel about that one, Louise. I don't think everyone would be... I don't if I could hear somebody shouting out, going, everybody, everybody, welcome, welcome, come and see tonight and watch her make things disappear. I don't know if that really works, but we'll see. Maybe, I'm sure there's a couple of you who'll come up with some really interesting, crazy ones. But we've come back towards the northern section, northeastern corner now of Djuma, having a look for these lions, this mating pair. And just different, all these little light hollows and all the water points, just to make sure there's anything around here. But sadly there is not, no sign of them. But they could have also moved off. You know what that young lioness is like? She's picked up Amber Eyes' bad habits now, and she often doesn't seem interested in the boys at all, though none of them Kuhuma lionesses seem like they enjoy the Birmingham boys very much. So she moves quite a bit. It was almost in that beginning stage when yesterday morning when they were found, that she was moving and he was sort of in hot pursuit, trying to court her and entice her to mate with him. So she's not waiting for him at all. But that would have slowly have changed now too. But you never know, she could be trying to find the rest of the pride and group, desperately searching for some help or relief. Shame, I feel sorry for those lionesses. I really do not have a choice when it comes to mating with a boy. Jackie J. So these are for my magician names. You said that my stage name should be Trickster. Say that again, Louise. No, I've forgotten. I went blank. What is wrong with my brain? Trickster. Tayla Trickster? I'm waiting for Louise to get back to me. Oh. Hello? Tayla the Trickster. Ah, there we go. Tayla the Trickster. Here we go. That's a good one. I like that. We'll see if we get a couple more coming through. Obviously, this is just for fun and games. It would be nice if you participated, but you don't have to. Oh, Cat in Tampa. You've got my favorite one so far. You've said I should be called Tantalizing Tayla. Yes! Isn't that a tongue twister? I love that. Okay, that'll be my stage name for now until somebody comes up with something better, but I think that is going to be a hard one to top. Well done, Cat in Tampa, and thank you again for joining me in my silly games. Where's a guari bush now? You said my name should be Tayla la 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 la. I like that. I think you'd have to sing it. Okay, here's a guari bush. It's coming with me because I cannot even deal with these flies anymore. This is a big one. This is a big branch. Get away. It's just bang if there are any ticks on this already. Get rid of the twigs. And then you see it's big enough so that I can get Lamech and I. And we'll just do a circular motion. We'll try it out. The other day we were doing swatting and it was making quite a bit of noise, but I think it stops him from buzzing around your head. And just swat them every now and then. I think they're gone for now. I've now put something all over here. I don't know what it is. It could just be ticks that I've just shaken all over myself. Because remember, the animals rub up against the trees too to get rid of their parasites. That was a bit silly of me. So there's a tip. If you do want to use a guari branch, make sure you give it a couple of whacks on something else first other than yourself, or put it above your head, because you might be unlucky and have had something scratched just on that tree and then it be infested with all those different parasites. That would be terrible. Let's hope now I have to say this out loud. Louise, that was very funny. Louise says, tantalizing Taylor's tip of the day. Love that. I apologize, it seems as though the signal's a little bit bad here, but let's go back across to Brent and that spotted cat.
Well, it's just behind this fallen marula, and I'm hoping it uses it as a nice high vantage point. So I think that's exactly what this cheetah's about to do. Jump up on the marula. Come on. Up you jump. Is everyone ready? I'm ready. Is he going to do it? We're waiting for him to leap. Often cheetah also like to defecate on fallen trees like this. Here we go. No. There we go. He's smelling it. Come on, up you go. Don't prove me wrong. I shouldn't have said he was going to jump up. Then he would have jumped up, but he should jump up. Now, actually, just zoom. I know this is a risk, Dave. You see that little up to the right? There's that little black thing there. I think that's probably cheetah poo, and they like to defecate up on spots like that. He's playing with us, Dave. Come on, up you go. There we go. Wonderful. So, as I said, they often use it as vantage points to spot potential prey, but also scent mark. So they will scent mark on those things and defecate as to denote their territory and their boundaries. So if any other male cheetah happened to come along, they would know that this area was occupied and they'd have to probably fight for it. All stretching. Shannon would like to know, does their urine also smell like popcorn? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Not nearly. It doesn't smell anything like leopard urine. Well, there we go. He's going to defecate on top of the tree, just like we said. That's one of the ways they do mark their territory. They are stunning. It's just so nice to sit quietly and enjoy this spectacular cat. Eli Yellow Bear is wondering, are cheetah the only big cats that purr? No, they are not. They are not the only big cat that purr. A lot of the other, or smaller big cats, such as, if I remember correctly, clouded leopard and all of that. So they have an ossified hyoid apparatus, which is the bone in their throat. So leopards, lions, snow leopards, tigers, jaguars, all have an elastic hyoid bone, and that enables them to roar, but cheetahs don't. So they chirp and they purr and they hiss. Isn't this stunning? So we are getting quite close to the Mala boundary, but so far he's still reasonably far inside cheetah plans. And you can see this half light that we're in at the moment is their favorite sort of hunting light. Oh, he's going to pop down. Oh, It's feeling quite sprightly all of a sudden. Deesa's wondering, do male cheetah hunt differently from female cheetah? Not necessarily. The only thing, because there are two of them, they do sometimes I can't speak today. Thank you, Dave. Collaborate, and because they are bigger, they are able to take down slightly bigger animals as well. Let's get onto the other side of him. Sorry guys, I just need to... I've got to be on the radio. Jamie, come quickly, it's moving. It's probably now 50 meters from the boundary. Sorry, I was just trying to get one of the other vehicles in here, letting him know how close this cheetah was to the boundary. And the answer is almost on top of it. Turn around, cheetah, turn around. Dave, make the cheetah turn around. Somehow, I don't think so. Lay would like to know, where will a cheetah keep their kills? They will drag it under a bit of shade, so just on the ground, and it's one of the other reasons they lose so many kills. Stations as Skankank has crossed the double M boundary. Here he goes off to the south. It was quite nice. I haven't seen them in a long time, so really great to catch up with, even if it is just one of them. Yes, come back, turn around. We can always be wishful. As he disappears down to the south. And as the grass gets longer, we're going to lose a view of the male cheetah. But what a lovely way to spend. Yes, there's Gnorm in the canoe behind. Now, Gnormless is a bit big for the cheetah. Oh, we don't spotlight daylight animals, Dave. Naughty Dave. Dave. I'm going to have to hit you with a stick. Oh my goodness. There's a interesting thing happening. I'll tell you about it later, but I'll deal with it just shortly. So, well, I can't believe it. Let's just go to Tayla before I crack up.
Are we still bumbling? Doing my favorite thing this afternoon. Bumble. Searching for chameleons now, or owls, or working termites, or nightjars, or coursers. Who knows what we're going to see here. But we are indeed looking at them. Hi, Impala. It's a little bit dark now to view the Impala, so we'll just pass this bachelor herd. This is our regular bachelor herd that we have here that lives at Cheetah. Like I said, you can just see them as they run around. We'll keep moving. They are running because of us. You can see that. And that's really just because it's nighttime. Normally they're very relaxed with us. The wind is now seems to have completely dropped. But because it's dark, it's terrible. They can't see as well anymore, so they're just going to be on high alert. There you go. But they were a little bit panicked, but that's okay. They'll settle down pretty much straight afterwards. Let's see if we can get a chameleon here. I don't know how lucky we will be though. Maybe a nightjar. Maybe we should change our search and say let's look for a nightjar, though I don't think that this is saying that. That's a silly thing. It's not particularly good weather for a nightjar. We know that they like the clear skies. What is that? Right, let's go and see this tiny little thing that is sitting on this piece of grass. Where are you? Okay, let me jump out. I'm stuck now. I'm now tangled. It is a piece of grass. I spotted a piece of grass. Look at that. I am a champion tracker. I should definitely win the award for spotting things. It seems as though there's just a little bit of the... No, that is... I can't even save myself here. I just spotted grass. That's all I did. Let me try and redeem myself. Let me get back in. Cables coming out of everywhere. Yeah. Go. Oh, that's on my multi-tool. Okay. Well, that didn't work very well. There's a brown-hooded kingfisher shouting about in the bushes. That was quite nice. Very quick though. Right, so no more spotting grass for me. Okay. I thought I'd seen another chameleon, but it wasn't. Really good vegetation. Costa, hello to you. You're asking, which animal do I think has the biggest sense of humor? Sense of humor. Should we go with leopards? They must have a great sense of humor, especially on those days when we can't find them. They're having a big laugh that we're driving around, passing them all the time. No, I don't think a leopard. I would have to say the primates. I'd go with a vervet monkey. Just when you watch them play, it's really, really fun. Them or the elephants have got the biggest sense of humor. Things as well. But vervet monkeys are really funny to watch. Another insect in the mouth, delicious. I won't need any nachos tonight. Someone can have my portion of nachos, seeing as I've eaten all the insects today. So yes, I'm going to say vervet monkeys. The way they all play with each other, the way that they come into your bedrooms or your bathrooms or your car if you leave the windows open, and they steal all of your things and then throw them around. I think that they have a good, very, very good sense of humor to do things like that all the time. So I'll go with them. Are quite humorous as well, especially the little ones, all those young Ellie bulls. I'm not quite sure of you, or still just trying to test the waters and suss out whether they can make you feel intimidated or not. That's really funny, and I'm sure Tristan and Jamie have experienced it, and Brent as well, and James, where a little bit bumpy there, where an elephant will throw a piece of vegetation at you. That's hysterical. The young elephant bulls are notorious for doing it. They'll pick up a branch that they've had on the road, they'll put it on their head, and they'll try and throw it at you. That type of thing as a form of intimidation, and then you just sit there and you cackle even louder than what you were before. Surely that can't be too good for their egos. I'm sure they must get a bit embarrassed. But I'll have an elephant story for you, and I know I've told you so many elephant stories, I can't remember which ones I have said and which ones I haven't, but one of my favorite sightings, I used to have the coolest video as well, but I think it got lost on many phones ago. I might be able to locate it in the clouds somewhere, and I was watching this tiny little elephant with my guests, and it came running right up to the vehicle and was charging us and trumpeting us at us. It was less than 6 months old, and we were all roaring with laughter because we thought it was the funniest thing. And this herd of elephants was very relaxed. There were about 50 of them, just moving about, just enjoying the long grass. And anyway, so we laughed. I think it's about the 5th time we'd roared with laughter at this little elephant. Got a bit embarrassed, and it tucked its tail between its legs and it ran straight through some worry bushes away from us. And we waited. And I said to my guests, I said, turn around, and I said, hang on, wait, he's going to come back. He's not gone. And he wasn't. A couple of seconds later, he popped his head through the guarri branches again, reversed back in, and then I don't know what you call, a gang of elephants came charging through, barging through, not any big ones, but all youngsters, a little bit older. I think the oldest one, there were about 5 of them that was about 10 years old, so not very big, and then they ranged from between 10 to about a year old. He brought his buddies back to sort of, you know, he told on me, he went and told his friends, and they came back, and then they all charged us, and then we sat there and we laughed even harder at them. And then after that, mom came and intervened and collected the little ones and said, right, let's go, off we go now, stop bothering the nice people. But that was a really funny sighting. I must see if I can find that video. I think I know exactly where it could be. I think I've put that in on one of my external hard drives. There's lightning. You may see a couple of flashes every now and then, and it happened last night as well when the clouds came over. But I don't know if we're going to get rain or not. It doesn't quite feel like rain yet. That's something we haven't had too many of, is big electrical storms, which is unusual because typically in this area they have the most wonderful thunderstorms. I remember 2015, 2016, we had some spectacular ones down further south of here. They were really special. We'd sit at the lodge after dinner and do photography of lightning. We had a really nice view out onto, it was a big sort of dip with a dam, but we could see quite far away and we could see the horizon quite nicely. Hey look, we've got a scrub here on the road. Let's stop here. Let me turn my lights on again. I won't put too much light on it. I've just got my very dull headlights illuminating, and it's quite a distance away, so I don't feel too bad. But look at the big shadow that it's casted. You can see it's very elongated, stretched out ears, and of course its body behind us. Now sometimes they get a bit of a fright of their own. I've lost communication. Sorry Louise if I was ignoring you for a moment. I lost comms. I think I pulled my earpiece out. But yes, this is a scrub hare just sitting on the road, coming out to see if it can find anything to eat and possibly find a mate too. They're predominantly nocturnal. Sometimes you see them during the day, but that's typically when they give you a heart attack because they jump out of the bushes when you're on bushwalk. That's always lots of fun. And it's right at the last second, it's right at your feet. And if they just stayed still, I can promise you we never see them half the time. But you better be careful, because I think that there could be some owls out tonight. And a Varro's eagle owl, the biggest owl we get in this area, could quite easily swoop down and snatch up the scrub hare, which would make a very nice, tasty, delicious meal. A good one too. Now we'd always see them in pairs, so I wonder where this other one is. Maybe it is a single scrub hare out and about, looking for a date, just hopping around, hopping to find someone. That was terrible. That was really bad. There we go. Let's see if we can go a bit closer. Maybe we will. So what I'll do is you're going to see a bit of the shakiness of the screen, but we'll keep it on him because I'm scared that we lose him. And then I'm going to drive very slowly up towards it. Here we go. We will try not to bounce around too much. Get a little bit closer. Maybe it will be relaxed so we can get a better view. Hello. Here it is. Nibbling, but listening and watching us at the same time. And I do feel a bit sad for them because they really are quite low down on the food chain, and it must be quite terrible to come out in the darkness when all the predators are most active, and then of course you have big scary owls that fly around at night that fly silently so you can't even hear them coming, not even with those big ears. A scrub hare won't hear an owl. They're amazing how they can fly so quietly. So it's really, really tough. All these guys out here, a jackal, a hyena, a young leopard cub, a big leopard, anything would try and eat this. I'm sorry, I'm being very depressing towards you, little scrub hare, but it's the truth, isn't it? Nature's really tough and really can be quite something to see sometimes, but not too bothered with us, which is actually quite nice. It's just happily munching away, which is unusual, because normally they race on. Thank you, scrub hare. Very nice. Okay, well let's not bother it too much. I don't want to keep the lights on it for too long. Bye-bye, scrub hare. Let me turn this one off. Enjoy your evening. Please don't run out in front of the road now. Bye-bye. There it goes. Oh, there's another one. Here's its friend. This one is now, you can see, is not partaking. It's running away from us, so I don't think we'll bother with it. Bye, scrub hare. That one's a little bit more scared. Like I said, so let's leave it. We don't need to terrorize the animals. We're lucky with that one that we just saw. Lauren, you've requested, not requesting, because requesting is not a word, requested if we can find a bush baby. Should we go have a look for one? I think so. We might get lucky tonight. It's warm. Oh, no, Lauren, we're not. Look at this. We are going to watch the sky in front of us because there are some unbelievable bolts of lightning coming down at the moment. So watch this. I'm actually going to take a moment. We're just going to sit quietly and enjoy the storm that seems to be coming in. Wow, that was a goodie. Now, it's not particularly massive bolts of lightning just yet, but also it's very hazy. So I don't think we are seeing it as clearly as what it would be without that haze. But it's very quiet. There's no thunder just yet. Oh, that was a good one too. Wow. It's lovely with that dead tree as a background as well. That's beautiful. So if you do manage to get some screenshots, please send them through. Hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Because if you can get something like this right, that's pretty spectacular. It's one of the hardest things to do, or picture to take as a photographer. Unless you don't mind leaving your camera out for a while. Look at that. Nature's fireworks. I always get a little bit nervous when I start to see electrical storms coming, and whether this is going to develop into something I'm uncertain. I think it might just be taunting us like it did the other night. But this is great though, and especially in winter when it's really, really dry and there's still a bit of grass around, because all it takes is one bolt of lightning to hit the ground, and you've seen it, and it becomes like a desert. That vegetation gets so dry, and it's going to take a while before all of this long grass eventually disappears and goes brown, and then we're just a sitting duck really waiting for a bolt of lightning. But I suppose then we get lucky that in winter we don't typically have any rain, so that saves us a little bit too, because fires out here can be scary. And if any of you are from Australia or from the US and you've seen the big fires in California, you will know that the big runaway fire that happens in the bush or in valleys, and it's not a great thing. I think that was spectacular, don't you? Watching the lightning, it's getting more and more impressive, so maybe we'll go find an even better spot than this. But I'm not sure where Brent is. I'm wondering if he's back yet from Cheetah Plains. Let's jump back aboard on his vehicle and find out.
Hello! No, we are still very much far away, deep inside the Cheetah Plains. I'm just checking that northern boundary again to see if Mr. Q doesn't pop out. Oh, there's a Corsa. I don't think I have that on my list yet for this month. Bronze-winged Corsa. Now, I said I would explain why I was cracking up earlier. So, what happened was, of course, there was a vehicle from our southern neighbours who was standing by for that cheetah to cross the road and into their area. And then I saw, let me just find the Corsa, sorry, quickly. I saw another set of lights sort of driving around towards them, and I just assumed it was another game drive vehicle from our neighbours down there. There we go, Bronze-winged Corsa, tick! Oh, I have to check how many we're on before the end of drive. But I assumed it was just another one. So obviously it was quite dark. So the guy in the other car was actually lost, and he was from somewhere very far away. Like, it's difficult to get to where he got to if he says he is where he's from. And he didn't see the cheetah, so he just got out of the car and walked up to the poor ranger who was sitting there and started asking for directions. Funny things. Fortunately, Cheetah are not aggressive. The cheetah looked at him, didn't care, and carried on, and actually stood there for a while longer. But that guy is seriously lost. I mean, he's as lost as someone who used to work here. I'm not going to say names because that's nasty, but there was someone who used to work here who was coming back from fixing something on the Arathusa repeater, and instead of turning left, turned right. and ended up about 70 kilometers away, sunburned, hungry, thirsty, and had to be escorted back by the anti-poaching guys so he didn't get lost again. But it is, people do get lost. I've worked with quite a few people over my years in the bush who just seem to not have a sense of direction whatsoever. It astounds me. And literally driving straight towards the setting sun and still don't know that that's west. Even though obviously logically they know, but put them in the middle of a block here and you tell them to go north and you can hear them crashing south. Fortunately, no one at Safari Live has that problem. Except maybe that person, well, none of the presenters at Safari Live have that problem. Dave, which way's north? Oh, panic! Which way? I can't see. Oh, well done, Dave. I'm going to test you again on the way home. Bring it on, okay. What direction's the lightning in?
West.
Ooh, southwest. There's west there. There's south, so southwest, Dave. I wonder if that's going to reach us. Is Steph's great deluge coming? Well, let's go to Tayla, who's looking at Steph's or the possible great deluge rolling in from the southwest with some spectacular lightning.
I know this deluge. I don't think we're going to get it. Hey? I think that we've had our opportunity and we've missed it. But who knows? Tonight could be the night. But I just thought that to watch this lightning is just so beautiful. Isn't this lovely? You can hear the crowned lapwings. They're not happy about something. They're shouting from both sides, from the left-hand side of the road and the right-hand side of the road. Now, typically crowned lapwings are actually more diurnal, but they're very active this evening. You see them running around, but this is when the bronze-wing coursers come out. And the thickneys, the water thickneys, also they're both. You see them running around during the day when it's not too hot, and then you see them at night predominantly. You hear them calling mainly at night, unless they are alarming at Shongile and Hasana at Twin Dams. Then we hear them during the day. And then also the spotted thickneys come out and about and will play around. But I hope that we do get some rain. It's creeping in slowly and there's not a breath of wind anymore. So if the storm does come over and we do get a bit of rain, it could be here for a while because there's nothing to just keep the storm on moving. Like I said, the clouds are creeping in. This is really, really cool. I haven't sat and watched lightning in ages. And thank you so much for all of you who have sent screenshots in of the lightning. It's always beautiful to see. And try now from a different angle. This is really nice because it's quite open. You've got a bit more of the sky to play with. And then when it sort of flickers like that, you're able to see the different types of clouds that are forming in the sky, which is really lovely. Let's see if we're going to get any more good bolts. Just as I was approaching the spot, there were a couple of crackers that came through. Some massive bolts. Oh, there we go. That was a good one. That was really good. You had quite a few bolts going through. And it all seems to be concentrated at the moment. But we have also been building up for a storm, though, with all this humidity that we have had. I'm just listening. These lapwings are very cross. I don't know if they're cross about us. We're sitting here with no lights on, so they shouldn't be shouting at us. And we're quite far away from them. Excuse me. I've got one more come. Whew. No, it's gone. Maybe it'll come back. Listen to the lapwings. They're all flying around at the moment, all these lapwings. David Ryan, you've said that this should be the intro to my magic show. Wouldn't it be great? We'd need some dramatic thunder, though. That would make it perfect. But we might get there. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. Something is tickling my nose today. So I think it would be great. I think we need a few more bolts though. I feel like the storm could be a little bit more impressive, especially if it was for the opening of my show. It would have to be only the biggest lightning bolts and cracks of thunder. And then what else? It would have to be one bolt that struck the ground and then lit a flame and then burnt grass. It would have to be very dramatic. Now I think I'm getting a bit over the top. That could be dangerous. No, we'll leave the fire out of it. But isn't this just so beautiful? And especially the colors, the oranges that are present this evening are quite lovely. Wow, that was also a goodie. And this is what the whole point of coming out on safari is that we've been spoiled because, we had the cheetah and they had the elephants come down as well and have a drink. We had one elephant. You had all the tracking with Tristan. And then sometimes, the elephants never came out. Well, at least you got to see an elephant with me. Very quickly, though. And it's sometimes nice to come and sit at something like this, which is so peaceful. Like I said, you can hear how quiet it is. There's just a couple of cicadas that were going and then the crowned lapwings kicking up a fuss about something. But it's nice to reflect and look at something like this. I think it's a great way to end it. Ooh, hang on, was that a lion? Just took my earpiece out there for a moment. I thought I could hear a lion roaring, but it wasn't. I think it was thunder. Now listen, it's gone so quiet. Now it's just the insects, the crickets and things. Now Eli, the yellow bear, you're wondering if animal behavior changes with a lightning storm approaching. I think it does. I don't know what upset those birds because the lightning's been going for quite some time now, so I don't think it would have been that. Perhaps it was me. Perhaps it was me barging through here in a vehicle that they didn't enjoy because now they've settled down completely. But it does. They can feel, they can sense when a big storm is coming, so you will see animals moving to cover or whatever they need to do depending on the animal. But I definitely see a change in their behavior. We haven't seen too many insects out this evening, which was unusual because typically we are seeing a lot of insects on these hot nights, but not even one millipede today, which is unusual. No more mildreds. Oh wow. Oh, there's some really amazing ones. See, as the storm is coming in now, we're getting more and more sections that are building up with the lightning. So not just this one spot, which is really quite lovely. We actually don't even know. I don't know where Lamech needs to point the camera because it's happening everywhere. I think we've got the best though at the moment. This is phenomenal. So for Tato, you said that I should be called Tenacious Tayla the Entertainer. Wonderful. The names are just fantastic. Oh no, I think that Entertainer should be it though, but we'll tweak it a little bit. We'll have chats about what my stage name should be, but thank you for all of those, and thank you for everybody that participated in our silly little game this afternoon. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. All the small things. Well, it's the small things in life that bring me joy. And I'm so jealous. Something I have to mention is that, was it Jamie that had, yes, it was Jamie that had the ants dragging the tadpoles out of the puddle. I know this is completely random, but it just popped into my head and I forgot what a fantastic sighting that was. So that's going to be on my bucket list. I need to see something along those lines too. My goodness. But what a cracker of a sunset safari it has been, don't you think? Don't you think it has been wonderful? We've had lightning, we've had cheetahs, we have had elephant, we have had a couple of other things. You've learned so much with Tristan this afternoon on how to identify tracks, so I'm sure that when we do a tracking exercise, you'll get all the answers right, which is quite lovely. But I'm going to leave you with the final look of the lightning as we come down to the final seconds. We'll see you tomorrow morning for the sunrise safari.